What if I were to tell you that there's a 2-in-1 out there that has a Core i7, a QHD display, comes with a pen, and also comes with a keyboard, but comes in $800 less than a similarly spec'd Surface Pro? It does exist, and I've been putting it through its paces for the past couple of days. Hey everybody, it's Andrew from AMD Tech, and this is my unboxing and review of the Asus Transformer Pro T304UA. The Transformer Pro comes in at $967.99. That's a pretty good price considering you're getting a Core i7 7500U CPU. It's also got 8 GB of RAM and 256 gigs of M2 SATA SSD storage. The big selling point here is that it comes with the keyboard and the pen included in the price, something you don't get with the Surface Pro. I ordered my unit from Amazon and it only took a couple of days with Amazon Prime. I'll put the link below for more information and where you can buy one. Now, packaging is very premium on this $1,000 or so level device, and I was really impressed. Opening the box, you're greeted by the unit itself, and it feels very premium, very high-end with its all-metal build and design. You get your charger, which is a barrel pin connector, and it's 19 volts, 2.37 amps, but you can also charge the device via the USB Type-C. And you also get your pen in the box. We'll talk more about the pen later in this video. And of course, the unit itself, as we stated earlier, it's very premium in design with its all-metal build and very solid construction. The magnetic connection between the keyboard and the tablet itself is very strong. In the Asus promotional video, they said it's a 170-degree angle. It's more to the tune of a 155-degree angle in my testing. Still good nonetheless. The hinge is very sturdy and is very similar to the hinge you'd find on the Surface Pro. But the star of this show has to be its 12.6-inch IPS touch display. It's a glossy display with a resolution of 2160 by 1440. That's 206 pixels per inch, and it also has a 3:2 aspect ratio, the same as the Surface Pro. At about 250 nits, it's certainly not as bright as the Surface Pro, which came in at 396 nits. But the colors are extremely accurate at 133.7% sRGB. Really nice. The blacks are very deep and the colors are very vibrant. I would have to say this is a very nice display, just wish it was a little bit brighter. Outdoor use for some, it may be an issue, but for indoor use, you'll be perfectly fine. And it has pen support. Now, the pen is included in the price, and it has 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity. It uses one quadruple A battery, and it uses N-Trig technology, the same as last generation Surface Pen. But I can tell you it's not going to be as good as the current Surface Pen, which has 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity. Now, there is no place to store the pen on the unit itself, but you can attach it to the keyboard as shown here. And the pen did work well. For note-taking and for sketching and for digital artists, this certainly will get the job done. It just won't be quite as good as the new Surface Pen. But one big advantage is that you don't have to buy the pen as a separate accessory, something you have to do with the Surface Pro. One big advantage over the competition is that this has a great port selection. Now you get a USB 3.0 Type A, full-size HDMI port, a USB-C 3.1, unfortunately it's not Thunderbolt 3, but you can use it for data and charge, and of course you get your power port where you can connect your proprietary charger. Now on the other side of the device, you have your 3.5mm headset jack, worked well with no interference. You got your volume up and down, and you get a micro SD card slot for storage expansion. On the top of the device, you have your dual array microphones, and you have your power button, which also doubles as a fingerprint sensor. Now the setup was easy, but I did have some issues with the fingerprint sensor. It didn't register my finger every time I used it, so it was more hit or miss in terms of using that with Windows Hello login. Not great. As I stated earlier, it comes with a proprietary charger, but you can use USB Type-C to charge the device, as you see here. Now I really do like the keyboard. It's actually pretty sturdy and it has 1.5mm of key travel, and it was pretty comfortable to type on, especially for extended periods of time. There's very little flex on the keyboard, and when it's angled up, it's also pretty sturdy. And there are multi-levels of backlighting. And I also like the touchpad. It uses precision drivers and it really does work well. It's pretty responsive, it has a nice size to it, Windows 10 gestures worked as advertised, and two-finger scrolling worked beautifully. The Transformer Pro sports two side-firing speakers, and I was pleasantly surprised by their performance. Let's hear them in action. I thought the volume was good, I thought the mids were decent, and there was a hint of bass. Overall, I think these were pretty good speakers. So this is the webcam on the Asus Transformer Pro. It's a 720p webcam, 30 frames per second. It's okay. It's not the greatest in low light situations, as you can see. Not the best lit room, as you can see from this video. But it also will get the job done. If you are going to do Skype, if you are going to do a video conference, certainly will work if you need to use it. This is what it sounds like when you're typing on a Skype conversation. So this has been the webcam on the Asus Transformer Pro. There's an 8 megapixel shooter on the back, good for capturing notes or diagrams, but it's competent at best. It's okay. Again, this is a 2-in-1. I wouldn't be taking too many photos or videos with a 2-in-1. But one area I was disappointed in is in battery life. This is not an all-day device, unfortunately. In my AMD Tech Endurance test with 40% screen brightness, doing Netflix, YouTube, some light gaming, some light Photoshop, and some web browsing under the Edge browser, it lasted 6 hours and 12 minutes. That's less than the category average of 8 hours and 32 minutes and less than the Surface Pro 2017. It took 58 minutes to go from 0 to 50% charge with the proprietary charger and with the device on. Now, to fully charge the device from 0 to 100%, it took 2 hours and 28 minutes with the device on. It runs Windows 10 Home, has 8 GB of RAM, and has a 256 GB M2 SATA SSD drive, of which about 194 GB are available to the user. And here's how it did on the Crystal Disk Mark test. It did a 560.6 on the read and a somewhat disappointing 260.3 on the write. Not very good. Too bad they didn't go with a higher spec SSD drive. I would have liked to have seen a PCIe NVMe drive. Now, despite that, it did do well on the multi-core score of the Geekbench 4 test. It did an 8479. It also did a 4216 on the single-core score. That's not bad. And its built-in Intel HD Graphics 620 did 19,461 on the OpenCL score of that Geekbench 4 test. Now, this is not a gaming machine per se, but you can do some gaming. Here's how it did on the 3D Mark test that I ran, the Time Spy Firestrike test, the CloudGate test, and the Ice Storm Extreme test. It has Bluetooth 4.1, worked well, no issues with pairing, and range was pretty good. And it also has Intel Dual Band Wireless AC. Now, it's the 8260 variety, not the 8265 that I would like to have seen. But nonetheless, reception was very good and range was excellent. As far as thermals are concerned, I was impressed. It stayed relatively cool and never hitting more than 85 degrees on the underside of the device when streaming a YouTube video for about 15 minutes. Now, there is a fan and it will kick in under heavy load, but really not very loud and not very annoying, so really not much of an issue. So in the end, is the Asus Transformer Pro worth your hard-earned money? And the answer is yes, because this is a great savings, especially when you compare it to a similarly spec'd Surface Pro 2017. In fact, you're going to save over $800. You get a nice QAC display, although I wish it was brighter. You get the good audio, you get the pen support, and the pen is included in the price, as is the keyboard. And speaking of the keyboard, it is very good, like the key travel, as well as the precision touchpad. And the only shortcomings with this are obviously the average to below average battery life. I wish that was better as far as all-day battery life is concerned. And the slow SSD read and write speeds were not great, especially those write speeds. I was not happy about. I'm willing to live with those shortcomings because I'm getting a Core i7 with a high-res display, pen support, with the pen and keyboard included for less than $1,000, making this a very good buy, making this worth your money. So what do you think about the Asus Transformer Pro? I think it's a really good value, under $1,000. You're getting a Core i7-7500U processor, you're getting the pen, you're getting the keyboard, and included in that price. Something you wouldn't get with the Surface Pro 2017, where the pen is a $100 accessory, the keyboard's a $169 accessory, and it really adds up. But I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I understand there are some shortcomings. The battery life is average to below average, and I wasn't crazy about the fingerprint sensor. It's a hit or miss proposition on this device. Hopefully with a firmware update, it will be a lot better. But I'm curious to know what you think about the Asus Transformer Pro. Would you consider this over the Surface Pro? There is a big price difference, and I would be remiss if I didn't point it out. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.